with twice winner Mark Scaife second and popular hero 9-time winner Peter Brock third.
The usual thrills and spills to mark day one at Mount Panorama, and the usual faces. Peter Brock chasing his 10th victory on the mountain. But while Brock was electrifying in the first session, it was Glenn Seaton in the Falcon who stole the fastest time of the day. His quickest lap of 2 minutes 12.67 was only 5/100ths of a second outside the lap record. Second fastest is twice race winner Mark Scaife with 2 minutes 12.72. Then comes Brock ahead of Wayne Gardner and Alan Jones. Last year's winner Larry Perkins was 8th fastest, but just 1.5 seconds separates the top 10. Tomorrow is the first official qualifying session for grid positions. Matthew White, 10 News.
For Sunday's Tooheys 1000, Seaton smashed the Bathurst track record by more than a second, but the big guns, Mark Scaife and Peter Brock, were right on his hammer.
Winter's thaw finally gave way to engine roar at Mount Panorama today, but forcing the heat into tyres was a difficult assignment. A lack of grip caught out a number of first-timers, but the pros had no such problems, with Glenn Seaton setting the early pace in the Peter Jackson Falcon.
I'm really happy at the moment. It just shows how much improvement we've made with the car with the new aero package and also the car through the year.
Only a couple of hundredths slower was perennial favourite Peter Brock, who believes the weather could be a big factor in the outcome of the Tooheys Enduro.
Well, I thought it was slippery, so I'm very happy about the lap times, yeah.
Could be worse if it's snow.
Exactly, yeah, we've got the chains there, of course.
A broken axle cut short the track time of Mark Scaife and Jim Richards in the first session as they fended off the forwards of Dick Johnson and Alan Jones. Seaton went faster again in the second period, down into the 12s with Scaife less than a 10th behind.
I'd say when we've got very little fuel in the car and good tyres on it, I think probably tomorrow morning I'll give them a bit of a shake.
There were two lucky escapes today. Daryl Schultz, who buried his Mini into the wall, and this wascally wabbit, who was only a hair away from being a statistic. Mike Raymond, 7 Nightly News. For 31 years, the touring teams have trekked across the Blue Mountains ready to answer the challenge of Mount Panorama Bathurst and play a part in the outcome of the Great Australian Race. Only 2 laps count at Magic Mountain this weekend. Circuit Tour number 161 tomorrow and 1 Top Gun run today. 12 months ago, Larry Perkins took the double, trumping his rivals to take pole in the Tooheys top 10, then punishing those who believed he and Greg Hansford would wilt under pressure in the big one. After a Shell Championship season of champagne competition, Holden firmed in the Bathurst market when Peter Brock gazumped the V8 greats in the Tooheys hot August lap. 12 days later, Dick Johnson and John Bowe sent shivers through the men at Fisherman's Bend with a Ford demolition job in the Sandown 500. Today, a new chapter in 5-litre folklore will be written as the 7 Network welcomes you to Bathurst, New South Wales for the traditional pole day sprints to determine Tooheys top 10.
Thank you, Mike Raymond. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the great race, the 1994 Tooheys 1000, taking place here at Mount Panorama tomorrow. But today, it's the shootout to decide the Tooheys top 10. And a number of factors appear certain to make this year's race one of the closest ever. The driver pairings are very closely matched, and the rivalry between the Commodores and the Falcons has never been fierce. But if any one driver has an added incentive for victory, it's 9 times winner Peter Brock. A 10th victory will guarantee him a bonus of $100,000. All that, though, lies ahead. Joining us now once again, Gary Wilkinson. I've done my homework. Am I right in saying happy birthday?
You're right, yes, thank you very much. It is, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it as the day goes on here.
Wilco, last year everyone came to the mountain with expectations of a gripping struggle between the Fords and the Commodores. It didn't eventuate.
Well, look, Sandy, when they bring back or reintroduce a category like this with the V8s, there's always some lead time to get things evenly balanced, and it's going on 2 years now. The Falcons held sway initially, but by the time we got to Bathurst last year, the Commodores had caught up, overtaken them. It was no contest, but now CAMS of the Touring Car Interest Group have got the balance perfect, and there's not a split inch between any dozen cars here.
Well, I think there's 1.8 seconds between the top 10. So we're going to be, I think, for something special.
It's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be the best ever.
Look forward to your comments over the next couple of the days. As we do from all our commentators, let's meet them now with Mike Raymond.
Thank you, Sandy. It's a delight to be here. And, of course, our Shell Series commentators, Alan Moffat, the living legend of touring car racing, and Mark Osler. Good to have you aboard. And who are you going for, Alan? Obviously a Ford, not a Synovus car, or are you sticking out for your own car?
Oh, well, the Synovus car will go well, but I think you should watch the Shell cars this weekend, mate.
Mark, you've been around the pits. The scuttlebutt is, apart from Peter Brock and the eligibility question that's been raised for a couple of days, we're looking at Glenn Seaton, who had not the best of years, had a pristine year last year in the Touring Car Championship, but he has set the benchmark. Here we have the cars out on the track behind that magnificent Mazda MX-6 pace car. Listen to the crowd. There's a huge crowd here this morning.
Yeah, indeed, a great crowd pouring into Mount Panorama this morning. And as you say, Mike, Peter Jackson, Falcon with Glenn Seaton aboard, really setting the pace through the week. Watching this car across the mountain yesterday, really, the proverbial on the rails. The thing was so smooth and so quick. Glenn really has got the chassis set up and the power output of this car, absolute optimum.
Well, here's how they line up today. These are the times from the days of qualifying. Glenn Seaton and Paul Radisich, the very talented Kiwi, at 2:12.03. Who thought that time was possible? Scaife and Richards. Mark Scaife, Jimmy Richards, great race winner, 2:12.36. Johnson and Bauer in the Falcon, 2:12.43. Then it's Bryson Johnson, Junior Johnson, at 2:12.71, followed by Perkins and Hansford with a 2:12.90. Six fastest so far is, of course, Peter Brock, Thomas Mazira at 2:12.99, Jones and Lowndes. And there you have the top 10 run out. We've got waiting for the first car to join us on the racetrack. And that should be, of course, Tony Longhurst. And here he is on the racetrack at the moment. The first car, 10th fastest at 13.80 yesterday.
Little wiggle there just to get his tires warmed up. He's not worried about that now. He's still got a slingshot himself over the start line for the beginning of the lap. And this is just his warm-up.
Tony Longhurst, the Benson and Hedges Commodore. Tony, the Australian 2-litre champion, just relishing his run here in the V8s. And here he comes. Takes the green flag and he's off on the Tooheys top 10 lap this morning.
It's always tough for the 10th qualifier. They're going to come out on a green track. It's had a bit of wind and a bit of dirt blowing over it over the night, and these guys really effectively have to go out and clean the track. But they have had a warm-up this morning, so that may help Tony as he heads off on the first of the top 10 qualifiers.
This is a Larry Perkins customer car, but Tony, to his credit, has taken it and won a heat in Perth in the Shell Championship, and here today in the top 10. A tremendous credit to his team.
He'll be partnered tomorrow by Charlie O'Brien. They make the exit now at Repco Bend. The exit from Repco just to the side of our camera as they swing up Motorcraft Hill, headed for BP Cutting.
Superb performance from this new team. Customer car from Larry Perkins, as Alan alluded to, but boy, hasn't he been getting some speed out of this. Very impressive showing at Sandown a few weeks ago. 4th outright for Tony and Charlie O'Brien in their first, effectively their first V8 endurance race.
Through to his turn, working the top part of the mountain.
Just hitting the curb there. He's on it. That's his eyeballing the corner there. You have to take that curb. Don't want to hit that one. Dicey part of the corner here. Nicely done. Just taking that's a nervy exit on onto those ripple strips there.
Through Castrol.
Down into the dipper, a right-hander here.
Little
hard on the steering.
Yeah, tight there on the inside. The exit to Firestone, but he looks pretty good. It's a very, very sharp lap.
Very tidy so far as it comes down to the elbow. Critical corner this. Really does determine your terminal speed on Conrad Straight. Nice quick entry, hard on it as he comes out toward the concrete wall. Up through the gears. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Working up to 280 kilometres an hour as he reaches Caltex Chase.
He'll just be taking a big breath now, knowing that he's got this right-hander to go through flat.
Quick dab of the brakes and this great speed shot here. Tony Longhurst flings the Commodore into Caltex Chase. Look at that, flat as a biscuit. 7,500 RPM, 280k, maximum braking. Back for the Caltex Chase. Very clean, tidy lap from Tony Longhurst.
He'll just be thinking about his braking here for this last right-hander. Important that he doesn't lock the wheels up, but wants to get the very last inch out of that road. Here he comes, quite clean.
Very tidy looking lap, Ellen.
Yes, and there's our first top 10 contender.
And a good-looking lap at 2:12.7549. At 2:12.7549, the time for Tony Longhurst.
It's almost a second under his qualifying time to get into the top 10, so they've really stoked this car up overnight.
Yes. Wayne Gardner is the next car, the next driver on the track, driving for Coca-Cola Racing, coming beneath the Bridgestone Bridge. He's been very consistent here all week, and the pairing of Wayne Gardner and Neil Crompton is a very strong one for the Great Australian Race tomorrow.
I think it's mandatory to have two good drivers in the one car. A lot of teams always split their lead drivers. I've always been of the opinion that your best driver should be in one car and a couple of other good drivers in the second car.
Nice tidy lap from Gardner. That is the strength of this team. Gardner and Crompton very fast and very consistent. And boy, what a difference 12 months makes. Last year Wayne was here in the Holden Racing team. Chevy Commodore. 12 months later he set up his own team. Two very strong Coca-Cola Commodores here this weekend. Keep an eye on these guys in the race.
I admire Wayne Gardner for taking that chance, because believe me, when you look at the bankroll that it requires to run a Group A team, and not just one car, he's got two beautiful Coke cars here today. That's a tremendous achievement.
Qantas race cam aboard car 4 with Wayne Gardner hard at work. Back to second as he points the nose in. A little bit of understeer there, a bit of oversteer on the way out. Gardner absolutely on the limit, works his way up toward Reed Park. The car probably in the vicinity 160, 170 kilometres an hour through here.
Just coaxing it there, you saw again, just touching that Ripple Street mark. He's just getting every ounce through it.
Listen to this. This really is the indication of how good these modern Group A touring cars are. Almost flat as a biscuit across the top, 200 kilometres an hour.
No brake lights going onto that corner here, over the skyline. Look at this, he's moving.
Split 110-2-4 to the top of the mountain.
Very aggressive. Look at that.
Look at the amount of grip
freewheeling through the dipper. Well done.
Very tidy, very quick lap from Wayne Gardner. Sets himself up for the elbow as we take Qantas race cam on the rear wing. Car 4, a fabulous view of the car as he unleashes it on Conrad Straight, working up through the gears.
Peter Malloy Chev engine serving him well here. It'll have every bit of 550, 60 horsepower.
Coming down now to the overhead bridge. The cars has become very light in the front end there, running downhill. Look at this for a shot. Flat strap, right-hander. There he goes, down into Caltech's chase. Does that take your breath away?
About 200 metres to brake here. Incredible, 1.9 Gs of braking load in these cars. Drivers working very hard. Gardner drifts it out of the ripple strips. An equally tidy and fast-looking lap. But the stopwatch will tell the story. Just over 2 minutes now as he heads toward the start-finish line.
Time he's got to beat at 2:12.7549. Established by Tony Longhurst as he comes across the line. He's done a 2:12. No, he's slower. A 2:12.9670. 2:12.9670. Well, Wayne, a pretty good shot and a clean lap. Just a little bit slower than Tony Longhurst.
Yeah, I tried hard, but I got a little bit on two wheels through the dipper, which really upset the car.
Yeah.
Which didn't really help the situation, but I lost a little momentum there, but that was the best that I could do with it for the moment.
Well, this is one race today for one lap, but the important one comes tomorrow, does it not?
That's...
Take him at Wayne. Trouble there, Wayne just is now trying to fire it again.
He needs to fire it to blow the flames out.
Yep. So Wayne is about to back it up. So Wayne Gardner has completed his lap. And we still have some more to go. Plenty, in fact. Alan Jones is next up after the break. Third driver onto the racetrack, Alan Jones, our ex-Formula One world champion in the Peter Jackson Falcon, a car he'll share tomorrow with David Parsons.
Hasn't Jonesy been on fire in 1994? It's been 14 years since he won that Formula One title, but the way he's pushing this Falcon along this year, he's lost none of that fire in the belly or dogged determination he showed to win the Formula One World Championship. Jonesy really on form in 94.
Turn one.
If you could have seen him win that World Championship, he had a lifetime supply of fire in the belly, Mark.
Sure did.
Nice clean run through that first corner.
I would expect today, given the setup for the Seaton car, that Jones will run, I would think, faster than yesterday.
Well, everybody wants to put the best foot forward today, Mike, and this is a driver's circuit and a one lap. Can't say there's anything out there but the crows to hinder him. And Alan Jones, certainly, look at that, almost scraping the wall on the approach. Wants a nice wide approach here to the BP cutting. Let's see how he comes out again. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Tightened her up. Very tidy.
That's where Wayne Gardner lost some time, I believe, with a bit of opposite lock through Tui's red. Now this is where the exciting part of the racetrack is for the drivers.
He's flying here. A lot of loading up on the car. The driver, ooh, look at that. He just missed that curve there. That is real precision driving. Again, left-hand front tire just touching the edge of the curb. Didn't unsettle the car at all. Now flying over on the approach to the dip. No problem there on that ripple strip. Let's see how he goes through the dipper. Three-wheeling it. Not too shabby.
Boy, hasn't this new 94 wing package made a difference to the Falcons up here? They weren't even in the race last year, and it's really evenly matched this year with the Holdens.
Coming to tyre power turn, the exit there. Conrod straight awaits. And there's Alan Jones, middle of the road, works a little to the right-hand side. Speed shot here under the GIO bridge.
Up to 6th gear on Conrad, and now just bracing himself for this fast right-hander.
Under the Tui's overhead, watch it here.
Little fade to the left, and then just straighten her up, so nice and straight under brakes. Nicely done.
On the split through Forest Elbow, James is about 4 or 5 tenths down on Wayne Gardner, so he may end up being a little slower than the Commodores at this stage.
Coming down to the left-hander, last turn. So Jones coming on in now, straightens it out, about to pass the flagman. There he goes.
Yep. 2:13.
And slower. A 2:13.1276. So marginally slower there for Alan Jones. I'm wrong. I thought that he may have improved on yesterday's times. But he's about to bring the PJ Falcon back into the pit area. The next one we'll be seeing is Brad Jones in the second of the Telecom Mobile Net cars.
Well, 2:14.3 on Friday's qualifying, so maybe he really has found the maximum of this car. And keep in mind, these cars have to start on the tyres they're running in the top 10, so this is true race trim for the Peter Jackson Ford.
OK, let's go down to Andy Raymond, bringing us all the action from the pits. AJ?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. Alan Jones, 0.3 of a second faster than qualifying yesterday. You happy with the time?
Well, I guess so, Andy. The car feels really good, so I don't know where I'll end up in the top 10, but I'm sure happy with it for the race.
A new engine put in last night. Obviously, everything going well.
Yeah, no, it feels really good. I'm very happy.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
That's Alan Jones. He's happy. They're concentrating on the race package as we pick up on Brad Jones, the second of the Telecom Mobile Net Mobile Commodores. Be driving this car with the young sensation Craig Lowndes tomorrow. Takes the green flag as he goes beneath the 7-setter and comes up pit straight, about to take the left-hander.
Very reliable number 2 driver for Holden Racing Team over the years, Bradley Jones. A sensation on the banked oval down at Calder, 5 times Oscar champion, and always very effective at Bathurst each year.
Oh, he comes good because that oval isn't going to help him much up here, but he does adjust very quickly and is a good support driver on the Holden team.
The good thing about Bradley with the Oscar activity that he's done at Calder Thunderdome, it's taught him to race side by side with a lot of drivers and show respect. You rarely see him in an accident. We'll pick up on him on the exit to BP Cutting, and here he comes.
Taking up plenty of room there. That's okay, a little slide there. He's got it under control. Let's see where he places the left front here. Well, a lot of them electing not to touch that curb, obviously. Practice has taught them.
The crowd gives a big cheer.
There's
Jones points the wheel up on the inside of the ripple strip there. Maximum road. He tries to get all the tarmac he can for the switch through McPhilly. A little bit untidy.
I think he feels that he missed it back a little further, and he's trying to catch time now.
Stabs it back through the gears. Down through the dipper. 2 wheels up. A little bit of oversteer on the way out. It's a little bit untidy. Bradley wouldn't be probably too happy with this. But we'll see the split as they come through the elbow. Very close competitive with the top 10 covered by 1.8 seconds.
1:10.7, so I think he might be marginally.
He's pushing it. You might be surprised. It could be a good overall elapsed time, and here it won't be slow in a straight line.
Certainly looks fast.
Well, he comes to the Tui's overhead bridge halfway down Conrod Straight. This marvellous speed shot to the right-hander.
Oh, no brake lights on there until the last minute. Down. Look how low that spoiler is to the ground. Getting every ounce of air, pushing onto the front of the car, giving it stability in the front. Easier to steer.
Beneath the Bridgestone Bridge. Down to the left-hander. We wait for the time for Bradley Jones. Very, very good lap for Brad as he comes across the line.
Looking good.
And the time, 2:13.5126.
Yeah, so
2:13.5126.
Bradley, the slowest of the 4 so far. 4 tenths slower than Alan Jones.
Oh, here's the man, though. Sandy spoke about Peter Brock and the challenge ahead. It's been a pretty tough couple of days for the Holden Racing Team. We won't get into that this morning, but this bloke is divorced from all that. He's just the race car driver. And he's been doing a fabulous job here. Crowd right behind him. 100 grand bonus if he wins tomorrow. So the master, Peter Perfect, takes the green flag. Comes along pit straight.
And we they certainly know that he knows that it's a left-hand
Listen
turn.
to the crowd. If anyone wants to know who's popular and who's not, Brock only attracts cheers. Heads up Mountain Straight now.
Flat out through the gears. 4th, 5th, pick up 6th over the top of this crest here, Holden Hill appropriately.
Switches over to the left-hand side of the road to avoid the high crown, doesn't unsettle the car. Hard brakes here, 150 metres out, swings it up, gets the nose pointing in early.
Very important corner here. The speed at which they can go through that corner helps them shoot up this incline, and it is a steep incline. So the faster you get through that corner, the better your terminal speed is here.
Motorcraft Hill to the BP cutting. The exit there straight, as you can see, coming out of there. Hugs the inside. The quick line now fainted across to the outside. Beneath the Tooheys Bridge now. Look at that.
Ooh, just there. Just touches that curb. Perfect timing there with Broggy.
Oh, jumping around.
And again.
Every bit of road, steps across the white line, just about brushes the mirror on the concrete wall.
That was a good line.
Crowd riding with Brock at Castrol at the top of the hill.
Let's see how he throws it over. Ooh, he's fast here. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Rear of the car just steps out, maximum braking as he sets up for the dipper, flings it through.
He's been driving on Bridgestone tires all his career, so you can be sure that he's got maximum confidence in this set.
Comes to the left-handed tyre power turn, the exit. Out against the wall, not much in that.
I haven't seen that. That's the first one this morning.
Now, if we get this speed shot as they come under the GIO, Brock was fabulous yesterday through Caltech's chase.
Well, he's only 2/10 down on Gardner. Gardner's been the quickest to Forest Elbow so far, so Brocky 2/10 slower than Gardner. Let's see if he can make up that time.
Steps out onto the little wide line there, on the brakes.
Little puff of smoke there, that was nothing.
See,
he's throwing it. He knows he's got a good one under his belt, and he's trying to maximize on these last 2 corners.
Getting very physical. You can see how much physical effort he puts into turning the wheel. Back to second gear and reefs on the wheel as he swings it over, using all the road, letting the car drift out.
Here he comes across the line. So Brocky across. 2:13.5126. Sorry, 2:12.3639. 2:12.3639. He's the quickest so far.
Sure is. 4/10 faster than Tony Longhurst, the quickest time so far. So Brock at 12.363.
He came onto the straight extremely quickly. He was the widest one out of Forest Elbow, and I think that really gave him the snap down the straight.
And 6/10 faster than he was yesterday. These are the tyres that have to start in the race, so it's a pretty quick race set up for Brock in 05.
So for you at home, they can't put on some gumball slicks. They have to run the tyres they're starting the race on tomorrow. Let's go down to Andy with the master, Peter Perfect.
Peter, Brock has been here 26 times. 6 times you've set pole position. You're quickest so far.
Well, that's very good. I'm not aware of the time, but it should be somewhere in the 12-second bracket, I suppose.
12.3639. Did you think it was that quick?
Yeah, parts were very quick. I really got it together at the top of the mountain. Missed a gear shift over here and a couple of little things, but, you know, obviously it's a time I could be pretty happy with.
You missed a gear shift, so you're still telling us there's still a bit left in the 05 Commodore.
Yeah, I've got no doubt that, you know, if you could get together and have 10 goes at this, you'd probably go faster. I mean, Dickie did a fabulous time this morning, but 12.3, that's the quickest I've ever been around here, so I'm pretty happy.
Peter, congratulations. We're 5 cars down. We've got 5 remaining. We'll be back after the break. Next up, the defending champion, Larry Perkins.
The ideal conditions, Wilco. That lap from Peter Brock, was he trying to tell some people something?
I think he's got serious intent here this weekend, and he's the fastest man so far. Good run by Tony Longhurst, also by Wayne Gardner and Alan Jones. Brad Jones, the only one of the 5 so far that has clocked a slower time than his qualifying yesterday.
But of course, as Peter Brock said, the big news this morning was that Dick Johnson broke the 2:12 barrier. So Dick Johnson is still to come out, and of course, so too is our defending champion. Speaking of winners, you at home can be a winner.
Something to look forward to for the great race tomorrow. At the moment, we have the defending champion, the Tooheys 1000 champ and pole position man from last year, and that's Larry Perkins. From Sandringham in Victoria, 44 years of age, European Formula 3 champ in 75. He drove Formula 1 from 75 through 77. The winner of the Bathurst 1000 is the James Hardy, and also Tooheys in 82, 83, 84, 93, and the winner of the Sandown 500 in 84. Lightning or Larrikin? Larry in the Castrol Commodore, a very, very competent driver and a man who can squeeze probably more out of his own engineered Commodore than anyone else.
Well, they say in this business, the harder you work, the luckier you get, and Larry Perkins works extremely hard.
Got a lot
7
of fans
days
there.
a week, I know.
A lot of fans here as he makes the exit, comes up long pit straight, takes the green flag. Marvellous atmosphere here at Mount Panorama this morning. Very, very big crowd in attendance for the pole day sprints. Ford Care corner as Larry goes through there.
Just a little power oversteer. You saw the rear of the car come around. He wouldn't have been worrying about that, Mark, but certainly giving it plenty of stick. Chevrolet engine's not renowned for anything but power.
We saw him last year in that great shootout with Scaife in the Tui's top 10. He took half a second off Scaife's time on this first half of the lap, the big climb up through the top. He's picking up 1/10 of a second on each corner, and see if he can do it to the fastest guy so far. Brock 12.363. Larry will be very keen to knock him off today.
Exit now to BP cutting.
The car's flying there. You saw the left front tire lift off the ground. That's showing maximum cornering thrust.
Just look at the amount of grip these things generate across the top flat. As we take Castrol race cam, Larry Perkins, 110% commitment and concentration as he feeds this car. You really do thread the needle through here. Very narrow part of the raceway, about 200 kilometres an hour here.
And he's thinking about his car for tomorrow right here. He doesn't want to do anything that he hasn't been doing all throughout practice. Nice and tidy.
Coming down to the Firestone Dipper.
Larry, the first of the Dunlop shed tires. He's been doing a great job for Dunlop all season.
The Castrol race cam from the front end of the Castrol Commodore swings very wide, points it at the apex, and bang, on the throttle.
Here we go.
As he feeds it gears down Conrod Straight, building up to 280 kilometres an hour. Perkins a 1 minute 27.67 split at the elbow. So he's still about 3 or 4 tenths slower than Gardner, the fastest man to the elbow so far.
Just watch this comp. Here we go with onboard Castrol race cam.
Into the kink.
Oh, flat as a biscuit. Didn't lift at all. Incredible speed through there. Maximum braking. Larry feeds power as he comes out of the chase for the final time.
Got a wheel up there on the curb on the exit 2. Comes down beneath the Bridgestone Bridge to the left-hander. Keeping in mind Peter Brock quickest so far at 2:12.3639. Let's see what Larry has in mind as he comes across the line.
Larry Perkins.
Yes.
Larry, you've done a 2:13.2338.
Yeah, not good enough, is it?
No, it's not. There's a few ahead of you there. Anything go wrong, or was it a smooth lap and you're concentrating on the race?
It was all sort of smooth, about as good as we'd do. Only way I can go quicker is if it gripped better, but we all want that.
Well, thanks for the ride with you, and we look forward to riding with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, Larry. So, Larry, smooth but not quick enough so far, so he...
Just a little conservative, Mike.
Yeah, 5th fastest so far. So Tony Longhurst has been the big gainer, if you like. Here this morning at Mount Panorama, he's gone out 10th, and so far he's 2nd quick. We pick up on the 18 car. The Honourable Alan Grice.
And hasn't Alan Grice been doing a sensational job this week? 52 years of age. Everyone said he was past it, but boy, he's proven them wrong with this return. First drive of a Ford at Bathurst in his long and successful career here.
What's wrong with being 52?
What's wrong with you, kid?
Have you got anything wrong with
I didn't say it.
Okay, just be careful. This is a touchy area you're getting into.
Okay, Gricey sets it up for Ford Care corner, gets it sideways, bounces the back wheel on the ripple strip, the exit there, breathing heavily as it heads up to Holden Hill.
Yes, breathing heavily, mate. She's rich and up.
Rich, yes.
Yeah, given her full power. A lot of these fellows changed the engines after the Tui's shootout. Feverish activity in the pits where the mechanics get these engines out and put the race package in for practice this afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Beautifully engineered cars, these Shell FAI Fords. Young Stephen Johnson, a rookie on his debut here, did a 13.8 in this car yesterday. A phenomenal time.
You don't do that without a tremendous car underneath you. And Ross Stone, who crew chiefs this team and keeps stick pointed at all times, has done a superb job on these 2 cars.
Just listen to Grice giving it some stick, the big Ford across the top of the mountain. Coming down now to Castrol. Here he comes.
Very smooth, tidy, controlled lap. Alan Grice very impressed with the Ford in his first drive at Bathurst. Just the front end of the car is fantastic. The way it turns in, the way it responds. And he's really enjoying himself here this weekend. Gets two wheels up, hoiks at the massive 1,300 kilograms coming down on the outside two wheels.
You could hear the scrape on the spoiler there when it thumped down coming out of the dipper.
Nice clean entry to Forest Elbow. Very tidy.
Tidy using all of the road as well.
But a little bit slower. The slowest time yet on a split to Forest Elbow, 1 minute 28.10.
Another Dunlop car. Dick Johnson does the most testing for Dunlop, their lead driver.
It's a great speed shot here. Oh, look at him step across the white line. Every bit of hot mix he can get the car onto. Hard braking here, working back to the gears very quickly. A lock brake on the inside.
A little bit busy with the gear shift there. He was doing a fancy down change and got his foot a little bit unmodulated.
He comes down now to complete his time. Still a good one from Alan Grice. He's looked strong here all week, but so too of the Dick Johnson Falcons, 17 and 18. They go across. Fifth fastest so far with a 2:13.1959. 2:13.19 is the time for Alan Grice in car number 18. As Mark alluded to, his co-driver tomorrow for the great Aussie race will be Junior Johnson, young Stephen Dick's son, who is doing a fabulous job in this car. The times have been incredible, and he hasn't stepped the car out once in the entire time he's been here.
So Grice slips into fifth position, fifth fastest so far, ahead of Perkins and Jones. Brock's still in charge at 2:12.363. Let's see if Dick Johnson can do anything about that.
Here's Dick in the Shell FAI Falcon, also supported there by the Bank of Queensland, coming down to the left-hander under the Bridgestone Bridge.
Well, Dick's finest day was when he put the Sierra on pole here the last time he ran the Sierras. Just a fabulous lap time to get him on pole, and I think he'd be remembering that morning and wanting to do it again.
He's not so finest day. It was the day you recall that he angered all the greenies by leaving the circuit and knocking down some of the mulga on the exit to Forest Elbow.
Here we go.
Dunlop race cam with Dick Johnson.
Look at that concentration. Bouncing around there. Very firmly sprung cars.
Very difficult corner this. The camber of the road falls away from the apex. He slides across, trying to get maximum power to the ground. Shifts up as he sets himself up for the cutting. About 185 kilometres an hour here. Back to second, muscles the nose in. There's a guy who's almost cut a groove. Oh dear, I think he hit the fence there. There was quite an impact. He did, tyre rubbing, yeah.
That's caused him.
You were with him when Dick Johnson clipped the wall. The rear tyre's rubbing, and we hope that'll hang in there for the rest of this race.
The worst thing he's got here, Mark, is he'll be smelling the smoke now, and it is very nervy, wondering whether a tyre will blow.
That is hairy stuff. Look at this. The car loaded up 180, 190 kilometres an hour through there. We've got our fingers crossed for Dickie Johnson.
Yeah, it will be okay on Conrad, but when he's throwing it through these corners, of course, the body
loading it up here.
Dear, oh dear.
The worst of it seems to be over, but it's still smoking. Let's hope that doesn't blow for him.
So Dick, the windscreen wiper going as well. I think he's getting pretty busy inside the cockpit of 17.
Well, he hasn't backed it off. I'll tell you, my only concern is down here, Conrad Straight. And Dick must be able to smell that from here, but he hasn't buttoned. Oh, dearie me, he hasn't buttoned it off. Yes, he has now.
I think he needs to, mate.
Let's see what he's doing.
Yes, he has.
No, there's still plenty of speed aboard. That thing's revving. He's feeding it through.
I tell you what,
Chase.
This will be okay. The body will go away from the tire on this corner. It won't be too bad. Another little rub this time round.
They mucked him up at 1:27.82. The split at Forest Elbow. Still 6 or 7 tenths down on Gardner. The quickest time to the elbow so far.
Well, that's guts for you. Bloke says to hell with that. I'll take my chances. He's going to qualify it and do well.
Yeah, bit of damage to the bodywork there as he puts the rear wheel up on the rebel strip using all the road he can. It was not going to help him that much at 2:13.62. Johnson, the slowest so far.
Well, it had to bother him, Mark. You don't throw a car.
2:13.6, Dick. You had your hands full there, son.
Mate, I had everything going for him and I screwed up.
What did he do? Just clip the wall on the exit to BP?
Yeah, top of the fence, mate, and I've had a tyre go down there before.
Oh, we were talking about it.
You were really flying, Dick. You had it. It just...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
both ends.
Sort of thing that happens in this deal, eh?
No, you would have done an 11 with a launch out of BP like that.
Well, thanks for riding with us. We'll go away and change for a while.
Well, there's not much I can do about it now, Mike.
No, well, there's a race
right.
tomorrow. That's more important. Thanks, Dick. Dick Johnson has completed his run. We still have the hot ones to go when we return to Mount Panorama Bathurst.
Tui's top 10, 8 down, 2 to go. Of course, this year, as in past years, we've got once again a very strong European flavour about the race, and that's great news. We've also got a European flavour in the commentary box because our European broadcaster, Richard Hay, joins us. Welcome, Richard, once again, back to Bathurst.
Thank you, Sandy. 9th time now, I think. 9th
time. You're getting a little long in the tooth. What about this year in the Europeans? Paul Radicic is going to be watching Glenn Seaton very closely in a couple of minutes' time. He's had a big year, though, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's the reigning FIA World 2-litre champion, the winner of that cup. He defends that title in 2 weeks' time. And he lines up in what must be the strongest of the cars here this weekend, I think, with Seaton.
And Win Percy, last year, that's it. I quit, home he went, and now back again.
Yeah, put the Commodore into the wall, said he wasn't going to do it again. He'd had an awful year last year in 2-litre, came back, and he's decided to take up an offer with the Coca-Cola team.
Give me one name for your tip for the weekend.
Oh, Seaton. Seaton and Radicic, got to be.
All right, we'll see what happens. Mike, as I said, 8 down, 2 to go. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Sandy, and good to have Richard Hay back with us beneath the Toohey Bridge at the moment. Here he is, Mark Scaife, 27 years of age, born in the Wyong area, now lives at Mount Eliza, winner of the Bathurst 1000, the Toohey's Bathurst 1000, 91-92, the Sandown 589, Australian Drivers' Champion 91-92, and the Touring Car Championship 92-94. A very talented young driver and a very professional team. He will give this everything. It means so much to his team. Oh, he's on the curb across there. But that's free space as he takes the green, heading along pit straight at the moment. He's got the car in practice watching him during the week. Softly set. They'll three-wheel this. They'll mono this around the racetrack. I don't think it suits Jim Richards. He likes a far firmer car and the setup. But Scaife, tell you what, he'd be outstanding in a Sprinter. He'd be bicycling through there.
Look at the amount of black smoke puffing out of this thing, Alan. Plenty of horsepower from the Winfield Chevy.
Yeah, they've got their Motec management there dialed in for one lap and able to tune the engine safely, I might add, to maximum efficiency.
Using all the road coming out of there. Scaife himself not feeling 100%, picked up the flu virus before he got to Bathurst. He's been pumping himself full of antibiotics trying to get on top of it.
Well, we'll get on top of it with some Synovus for him now that you've told me that he's on the wrong device.
You can guarantee Scaife will give 110% here.
This is a development driver's dream. He loves this one lap, and Mark Scaife has proved himself to be a superb development driver, works hand in glove with Freddie Gibson to get the car to the end. Look at that. It is soft, but...
Look at the amount of grip the tyres are generating, working the inside up through McPhillamy Park.
Front spoiler actually dipping on the ground through there, and he hasn't reached the Firestone dipper yet. Look at this. You heard it scrape across there. It does in most of the cars. As we take this aerial shot of him working his way across the top of the mountain, headed for tyre-powered turn here, Forest Elbow. The exit, he's out of there, and now he's onto Conrod Straight. This is the man that will turn the notch up, the power up on Glenn Seaton, and here he comes along Conrod Straight.
At a 2:12.35 to get him into the top 10. Let's see what he does here now.
Tell you what, he's only as fast as Johnson to the elbow that time around.
Watch this.
Fades wide to get a good slingshot through the right-hander.
And a late break there too. To Caltech's chase. Scaife driving superbly, hooked the exit there on the curb. You're right, Alan. They've got a good mixture going here today, haven't they?
Yes, they have, but that's okay. Oh, look at that.
Up on
two wheels.
Two wheels. Across the line, Mark Scaife comes across. He's chasing Brock's fastest time, and he's second quick so far at 2:12.36.46. So the king of the mountain still fast time. Mark Scaife up to number 2 now. 2:12.36.46. We'll give him time to turn the car around and head on down pit lane, where Andy Raymond will be there to talk with him. I would think that would satisfy them greatly, and we'll still have Glenn Seaton to go. And the man who's game before, Tony Longhurst, in car number 25, started the morning as 10th and is still third fastest.
Well, how close is that? 7/10,000th of a second slower than Peter Brock.
All right, here comes Mark Scaife, heading on down for a chat with Andy.
7/100ths of a second slower than Peter Brock. Mark Scaife did most of it on 3 wheels. Second fastest. Scaife, you happy?
Well, obviously we'd like to be fastest, but it's about as good as we could do.
The Winfield Commodore, how's it feeling?
Fantastic, really good. I think it'll be a very tough race tomorrow.
We wish you all the best.
Thanks, mate.
He does.
Mark Scaife, as we pick up the moment of truth for Glenn Seaton, the Peter Jackson Falcon, coming across, taking the green. Yesterday, Scaife held pole here for a while, and Glenn was able to come in, change tyres, go back out, and take the pole position, provisional pole, back from him again. So it's been seesaw between Scaife and this man, Glenn Seaton, all week.
Great development war here, and two well-funded teams. They're capable of throwing things at it. They know what they want. They put them on the car. They get out there. They get a result. It's really great racing.
Just a relaxation, Glenn Seaton.
I don't know if it's that.
STP race cam.
Here he is through Repco. He'll work to the widest exit there. Just that was the curb. You saw him shuffle back in the seat. Now he's heading up Motorcraft Hill to the cutting.
Haven't they been getting some speed out of this car this week? Seaton 2.3 seconds faster than his best qualifying lap last year. Working very, very hard on chassis and engine development. It's paid off this weekend. This car is very, very quick.
Just a little flick there too. That was natural and nothing untoward there. It was just good driving, but controlling the oversteer. Drifting right over. Look at that on the white line. These guys, their judgment is fabulous. Again, a beautiful approach over Skyline.
That's
that was one of the nicest approaches to Skyline.
That's the way that car's looked all week across the top, Alan. Like it's on rails, just so smooth and very, very quick on section times.
Down to the Firestone Dipper. Good lap so far, cut by Mark Scaife. STP race cam we pick up on the run to the left-hander.
Tight on brakes here. The car can get loose in the rear. He's got it under control.
Gee, he was on the full throttle early too. Nice exit.
And on it early too. Now he swings back to the outside edge of the racetrack as they head down the front straight.
This is a super lap. He's only a tenth slower than Gardner, the fastest man so far to the elbow. This is going to be very, very quick.
Could be close. Here he comes. Watch his entry to Caltech's chase.
Goodness me.
There we go. Brakes on.
Maximum braking as he swings into the chase.
Look how flat the car is sitting.
Yep.
Just a little touch of the curve there. Did not settle the car.
This is payday. Glenn Seaton comes down his final corner.
Looking for his first pole at Mount Panorama.
The crowd's going mad. They said something's pretty strong here as he heads toward the start-finish line, up on the curbs.
Checkered flag time for Glenn Seaton. He has done it. We've got it forward on pole. Glenn Seaton has done a 2:12.1464.
Well, that's a great credit to their team, to Glenn driving it, of course.
How does that feel, son?
Oh, fantastic, Mike.
How long have you been trying to get that one up?
A bloody lot of years. I've never got it up, that's the thing.
Well done, mate.
Really, thanks, Alan.
Great.
Glenn, that car looks like it's handling on rails.
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. It's been brilliant all week. The team's done a great job, and it's just a matter of kicking that hoodoo tomorrow.
You'll do that, mate.
Well, you got the first part of it all right. Just turn around to the left so our viewers can see you. There you go. Well, you're a happy boy, and I'd say the team are ready to celebrate with you, but you got some more. You're breathing a little heavily, son.
Oh, I tried pretty hard.
How much does it take out of you? I mean, we can understand the concentration.
Well, naturally, Mike, it's more the concentration than the fitness side of it, really, because you're just concentrating on the whole lap, and you're just trying to make sure you don't make too many mistakes, and as well as push the car as hard as you can. But
well, you did that.
Listen, we're all proud of you.
Thank you, mate.
Well done, son. What a great effort, Glenn Seaton, pole position, and he and his team have been looking for something big this season. And they finished, of course, second to Mark Scaife in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship Series. And he's come back by dictating all week, and now they have pole. And we'll have the presentation to follow when we return to Mount Panorama at Bathurst.
We've just seen the hottest ever Tui's top 10 runoff here in qualifying for the 1,000 tomorrow. And it came right down to the wire, but they could not knock off the man who set fastest time here yesterday in the Peter Jackson Falcon. That was Glenn Seaton. Not much, though, in it. Peter Brock sharing the front row with him, and Brocky only 7 1/1000ths of a second in second spot ahead of Mark Scaife. If there was a hard luck story in the top 10 runoff, it certainly had to be Dick Johnson. Dick, a quick word with you. We had a quick word after the race. You've had time to reflect on your misdemeanours now?
Oh, not really, Wilco. It was just a matter of I got in the gas a bit early, and tyres not being warm enough in the sidewall, it sort of just flicked out and bumped the wall a bit. No big deal.
That puts you in number 10 spot. You're happy to start from there?
I started 15th at Sandown.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Dick Johnson. And Peter Brock, of course, the man who's set the most pole positions here with 6, was shooting for number 7. Peter, where are you?
Right here.
Good man. You only just held out Mark Scaife for that front row spot, but nobody could hold out Glenn on the day.
No, look, I watched Glenn's run around there. It looked fabulous. The car looked beautifully balanced. Glenn seemed to get all the right apexes, and I just standing here watching it, I thought this is going to be a good lap, and it'll be pretty tough to beat that one. So my congratulations to Glenn. But I'm extremely happy doing a 12.36. I thought it was, you know, quite a respectable lap.
Okay, terrific.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow. Mark Scaife is standing right behind me and is about to step in and join us. Mark, you've been going gangbusters all year, and as I said, that's 7/1000ths of a second. I have difficulty remembering that and spitting it out. It came down to just that much to miss the front row.
Oh, well, it just shows how close all the cars are. You know, the race will be very close, but today in qualifying, the same deal applies. All year we've been that close, so it's no different here.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark Scaife. Now, Glenn Seaton, Tooheys Top Gun for 1994. Absolutely fantastic. Well, how about that? It was not easy.
No, it wasn't. It's my first pole ever, and I'm really happy, but I've just got to kick that hoodoo tomorrow and try and win the race.
Sure have. Mike Kennedy is here, Marketing Director for Tooheys Limited, with the Top Gun trophy for Glenn Seaton.
Congratulations, Glenn, on running a sensational time today. I'd like to present you with the Tooheys Top 10 trophy for 1994.
I'd like to thank Tooheys for putting on this race here. It's a great credit to Bathurst and also Tooheys, and also my sponsors, Peter Jackson, Bridgestone Tyres, which I really have made the day today. Thank you.
All right. Come back here. That's made the day today. What about the day tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, Gary, because it's all so close between everyone, and also it's one of those races that you've got to have everything right and just hope nothing goes wrong.
Congratulations on a great effort today, and we wish you the best of luck in Tooheys 1000 tomorrow.
Thank you.
Glenn Seaton, Tooheys Top Gun, the pole sitter for the 94 race, as we take you back to Sandy Roberts.
Yes, thank you very much, Gary Wilkinson. I'm being joined now by Mike Raymond. Mike, he's got a cheque for 15,000 and a trophy, but how important is pole?
It's important for today. At the end of the day, Glenn Seaton is on pole. Tomorrow is a different race. They will go back now. They will change the cars. They will go to enduro trim tomorrow. But I tell you what, he has got a good package. He's looking strong.
They're all very, very competent. We'll have a look at the top 10 and just see how they did finish. The hard luck story, Dick Johnson?
Yes, clouding the wall, but Dick was really down on himself fairly hard after that. Seaton and Radicic, he's got a strong co-driver, Glenn Seaton. Brock and Mazera. So they've got a slice of the front row. Scaife and Richards, and the big game, Tony Longhurst from 10th to 4th, with Gardner and Crompton starting out of position number 5. After that, Jones and Parsons in the second of the Peter Jackson cars, Grice and Johnson the second of the Shell cars. Then it's Perkins and Hansford. Larry was on pole last year, he's out of 8 tomorrow. Jones and Lowndes, and then of course Johnson and Bow starting out of 10, but Dick could still do it from there.
The main controversy has been surrounding Peter Brock. Do you think he went out this morning saying, righto lads, I'm going to stick one up here?
Oh, yes, he probably did. And in fact, Peter Brock has been wearing a lot of that thing that's been going on all week about the eligibility question of the Commodore. And it has been, you know, there's been a lot of lobbying, a lot of politics going on behind it. I feel sorry for Brock. He's come here trying to win a 10th. He's got a 100 grand bonus up for grabs. And the press have given them a fairly hard time, the Holden Racing team. And I think it's still, there's still a lot to come in that.
Well, we shall see if he can answer his critics tomorrow, when, of course, we have the great race coming away from 8 o'clock Eastern Time. I hope you can join us then.
When are you joining forces with Perkins next year?
Yeah, we're running it, well, it's separate teams, but joining up with Castrol's great.
OK, more interviews to do. Here's Andy Raymond.
Yes, thanks, Gary. Down here with the defending champion, Larry Perkins.